And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it.
Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc.
I admit to always improving.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius.
Why attack Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. You're getting nervous, man. You're getting nervous, man. Why attack Sanders? Why attack Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa. I gotta go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else. I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Why attack Sanders? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
I mean, the fossil fuel industry, they weigh in so significantly. I mean, how could it be?
I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And he's, this is on live television. Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
And then they have cans of soup. It's soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of the show. This is the Above It All live programmatic program. It is live I am live right now. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am here. I'm around, and I am round, and so welcome to the show, people. Welcome, people. We got people. Welcome, people. So we got the show here, doing a So we're doing a show here. We got a program going on. So welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday. I would like to say that I did not film a cooking, with the bitch episode. So I apologize. But, I had a couple things I need to do this week. And I was planning on doing it yesterday, but then something came up last minute yesterday. And so it's not going to happen. So I apologize for skipping a week. But I'll be back next week. So don't worry about that. But, feel free to unsubscribe. Feel free to send me hate mail. Feel free to harass me. But I will do more next week. I apologize, but this is why procrastination doesn't pay. I was planning on doing it yesterday. I had some shit happen. And so, you're using film. No, I'm not using film. No, it's a term. But anyway, was it drugs? The drugs come up? I mean, I did do drugs yesterday, but that's normal. That's not... Will there be 2 episodes next week? I'm planning on there being 2 episodes next week. So, yes, I will do 2 episodes next week. I might do like Wednesday and I don't know, Monday and Wednesday maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I got sunglasses in my hand. I will, though, be continuing the Doom stream this week at 1 p.m. I didn't put the stream page up, but I will be playing Doom at 1. So if you'd like to hop in, that would be cool. I don't know why y'all are saying this is a fancy outfit. First of all, I'm wearing my pajamas. So this is not... I'm just cold, right? So I had this on, and I was like, let me just put this on. It's not, it's no... it's a little chilly, so... We should call in with our drug trip war stories? Yes, you should. I gotta do a whole episode. Get everyone to talk about drugs. Everyone's got their own unique drug stories. Though for me, I'm all about that natural comes out of nature. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers, they're making these drugs in a laboratory. Y'all motherfuckers think we had laboratories in 3000 BC, motherfucker? We did not have laboratories in fucking 3000 BC, motherfucker. So, natural medical substances are what I'm into. Bodan, let's go Bodan. I agree. Today I will be playing Doom 2 the way it did at 1 p.m. So, there you go. Formally, this is not formally dressed. This is not, first of all, this is filthy. It smells bad. This smells like sweat and Max. So, this is not formally, I'm wearing pajamas. I don't know what the hell you people are talking about. But anyway, so, got a show. We didn't even have lavatories. That's true. It's very true. No laboratories. It's all very factual and true. Would I ever trip on stream while watching an effed up movie? Well, no. I mean, I've streamed while on mushrooms before, but I usually don't like to trip on stream. I feel like I would freak out. First of all, like, how would I do it? Like, my setup involves me having, like, a webcam view of myself at all times. So that would be freaky, right? To, like, be staring at myself. I would freak out. And how do I know this? How do I know I would freak out? Because I did stream while doing a pretty decent dose of shrooms once. I played Ancient Aliens, I think last year. And I did stream while doing that. And I freaked out a little bit. And I like turned the webcam off at some point. And it freaked me out. So I don't know. Streaming and mushrooms are not a good combination. Unless I'm microdosing. Then it's okay. But, do some drugs to take a shit on the side of the road. I've always wanted to do that, actually. That's on my so-called bucket list. You'll know about bucket lists. That's on my bucket list. And I want to do it, like, on a highway, right? Like, where I want people to see me. You know what I mean? Do it on, like, the interstate. You know? Like, rush hour, interstate, like, around a major city. Right? You know, like maybe there's a traffic jam. They're all like stationary. And then boom. And I could wear like a crazy costume, right? I could wear like a fucking Michael Myers mask. I could like, you know. I've always, yes. Anyway. Today's program brought to you by me. Also, I would like to share an announcement. Okay. Should I share the announcement? This is unclear language. Someone tell fucking goddamn the letter hack that this is unclear language. This motherfucker. You know what? So, I'm announcing that there's going to be an announcement. The letter hack has said that he wants to announce something to my chat room, but he's not going to be able to show up today. But he said he's going to announce it on the Majority Report. Like, first of all, what the hell? This motherfucker, I can't do it on the Above It All show, but I'll do it on the fucking mainstream MSNBC sellout Sam Cedar show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to announce his announcement, and we'll see if he gets upset about that later. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So, I'm going to announce his announcement right now. So, he told me to tell everyone in the chat to watch the Majority Report. So do that anyway. Right? But this is the exclusive. Like, this is, you know, like, this is like the cool kids club. This is where you get the secret stuff. But, Letterhack, is posting, his Michael Brooks artwork, for a charity fundraiser. So if you'd like to purchase this artwork, you can see this here. And he told me he's doing a charity fundraiser. And so if you want the link, just wait for his announcement. And there you go. So open your wallets and donate to charity and get a cool poster. So that's the Letterhack's announcement. I don't know if he wanted me to announce the announcement. He told me to tell the chat that there was an announcement, but then gave me the link. You know what I mean? Like he gave me the link to the announcement. Like, he could have just told me to announce that there would be an announcement. But he didn't. He gave me the link. So I'm sharing that with y'all. I'm not sharing the link, but, you know, that's what's happening. So, go check that out. You heard it here first. You know what? This is the exclusive. You know, this is like, you know, all these dumbass fucking, like, weirdos that are watching the sellout shitlib Sam Cedar program. Right? They're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. You, the Above It All viewer, you saw it coming. Why? Because you watched the Above It All live show. It's like that. It's like the Virgin and Chad, you know, like the Virgin Sam Cedar show viewer versus like the Chad Above It All user. You know what I mean? Like, that's y'all. Y'all are the Chads. So, I'll just post a link. This is, whatever. Here's the link. So go ahead and buy Michael Brooks' print, and the proceeds will go to charity. But also watch his announcement on the Majority Report, because I don't know. He sent me the link and said to tell the chat to announce the announcement, so I did it. I don't know. You can get mad at me? I don't think you can. But anyway, the Chad Above It All users are, they're well prepared. They're well prepared for the rest of the day, let me tell you. So this is the benefit of doing a morning show. Y'all ever think, why does the stupid fucking whore, that's me, I'm the stupid whore. Why does the stupid ass, dumb ass, fuckface whore, emphasis on fuckface, why does she do a show in the morning? Well, this is why. When there's news, I'm out. I'm the first one. You heard it here first. Though maybe I should do an evening show, though, too. Should I do an evening show, Above It All, After Dark? Above It All, After Dark. It's going to be where I get drunk, and take my clothes off, and get banned. Just kidding. The American right in general isn't on board with Ukraine. Trump's probably going to undo all of the sanctions when he takes power. I mean, that's 100%. Yeah, 100%. Undo all the sanctions and destroy NATO for sure. Republicans are fucking crazy. They're crazy. I don't know what to tell you. A certain Orange J man was influenced by Russia. It's true. Very true. Anyway, there's a show going on. I want to say that I apologize for today's program. I know that there were primaries in a lot of states last night. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you want to hear primary coverage, this is not going to be the stream this time around. I apologize, but I know that Fetterman won in Pennsylvania. That's cool. So that's nice. I know that there's a couple other good candidates that are leading in Pennsylvania too. I know Booker won in Kentucky. I also know that Madison Cawthorn lost. So, but I'm going to be honest. I didn't follow much of those races too well. I don't want to really comment on them. Go watch a better show when it comes to that. Go watch, TYT or Majority Report, whatever, if you want to hear that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you, because you're going to be hearing that on every other show, right? This is the cope. This is where the cope kicks in. All right. So you're going to be hearing, these guys won on every other show today and tomorrow and the next day. You're going to be hearing this and that. Oh, primary, they won, whoa. You're going to hear it everywhere else. You don't need to hear it from me. You don't need to fucking hear it from me. You need to hear from me. Because I don't know. I don't know. What do you want to hear from me? I'm not sure. So I'm doing some news. I'm doing a news show, I guess. I think Nina Turner losing is not much of a bellwether race for the progressive movement nationwide, specifically because Nina Turner has extremely well-funded and very hateful haters. You know what I mean? A lot of progressive candidates, no one knows anything about them, right? And I know that AIPAC is still doing their bullshit. I'm gonna get into a story about Israel later. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I am not a fan of Israel, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, so anyway, I want to share a couple of things, I think. share a couple of things. So, a couple of days ago, the CDC released a map on Twitter that says, as of May 12, 2022, more than 90% of the U.S. population lives in a location with low or medium COVID-19 community level. This is what the CDC posted. And I found this account on Twitter that seemingly replies to every CDC post with actual information. So this is the People's CDC account, posted the actual map. As of May 12, 2022, more than 88% of the U.S. population lives in an area with a substantial or high COVID-19 transmission level. Transmission levels are a better metric to judge risk than community levels, which focus on hospitalization, a lagging indicator. I want to remind everyone that the CDC, and I say this without any irony, without any hyperbole, the CDC is a neo-Nazi eugenicist organization. And I'm not joking when I say that. I'm not overreacting when I say that. That is factually correct. There is no other explanation for the CDC's behavior over the course of the Biden administration other than either all or most of the people that have power at the CDC are neo-Nazi eugenicists. There is no other. If you want to present another argument, I'm willing to, adjust my belief. But as of this moment, what is the incentive to lie? What is the incentive for the CDC to publish disinformation, to lie to people about their COVID risk? Why would the CDC change case data so that only hospitalizations count in the metrics? Why did the White House commemorate 1 million COVID deaths 2 to 3 months after 1 million COVID deaths actually happened? There is no other theory or hypothesis that I can figure out other than the fact that the CDC is run by neo-Nazis. I can't find any other, what other reason would they have for this? I don't know. I can't figure that out. For those of you that want more information on this, the community level metric was introduced in April of this year. The community level metric is based on hospitalizations, meaning someone gets sick with COVID, they get infected, 3 days later they maybe start showing symptoms, 3 days after that maybe they get really sick, the next day they go to the hospital. That's around a week. As the People's CDC account here says, community levels focus on hospitalizations, a lagging indicator. In the same way that when people talk about, the deaths, I'm only concerned with the deaths number. You don't get infected with COVID and then die instantly, okay? But, right, you get sick, you go to the hospital a week later, maybe you're in the hospital for 3-4 days, maybe a week, and then you die. That's 2 weeks after you got infected. I'm looking for another explanation. But why? What is the incentive for Joe Biden, the entire White House, and the CDC, the entire federal government, to just cover up COVID transmission? What is the incentive? To force people to get back to work, right? To be cogs in the machines. Right? Well, again, we know white people, over the course of this pandemic, are significantly more likely to work from home or to work in environments that have higher safety standards. We know that people of color are more often in service jobs that have no safety standards. Right? Like fast food, no safety standards. Right? We know that people of color oftentimes don't have as good health care as white folks do, typically speaking, right? And we also know that the death rate of people that are not white is significantly higher than the death rate of people that are white, percentage-wise. So, I'm asking this question: what is the incentive to commit a genocide? In the year 2022, the United States federal government is committing a genocide against non-white populations. All the data is there. We know who is affected most by this pandemic. We know who is the most susceptible. This data started coming out in 2020, multiple years ago, 2 years ago. We know that COVID has been mutating to the point where new strains are so vaccine resistant that they might as well be called COVID-22. It's a different virus now that we're dealing with than what we started dealing with 2 years ago. So I ask this in complete sincerity: what possible reason would there be? What conceivable reason would there be? Like, you can't tell me that they just don't know this. You cannot tell me that some stupid ass bitch doing a podcast at 10 a.m. knows more about COVID than the entire federal government and the CDC. I refuse to believe that. I know for a fact that all of the people that work at the CDC and all of the people that work at the White House are aware of the same numbers and data that I am aware of. I know that for a fact. So, what if you know all of this information and you are in a position of power and you cover up the actual data and lie to people to force them to get back to work? What does that make you other than a neo-Nazi? You are going out of your way to aid an ongoing genocide that is attacking mostly, right, percentage-wise, the most of the people that are going to be destroyed, families being destroyed, savings accounts going into the negative, uninsured people that are going to be saddled with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of medical debt for the rest of their lives, right? What other incentive would there be to destroy the American population, and specifically non-white and poor communities? Like, what? Can you explain what the incentive is? Because I don't know. I have no idea why the United States wouldn't have mandatory masks nationwide. If I go to a grocery store, I know, this is a tired argument. If I go to the grocery store and I take my shirt off and flop my titties all over the fucking broccoli, you know what would happen? I would go to jail. Someone would call the police, they would come and collect me and send me to jail. Yet, someone can have no mask, sneeze on the broccoli, someone will eat that broccoli, get COVID, and die, and the police can't do anything? Like, again, these are all decisions that are made by those that are in power. I am not in a decision-making position. If I were, right, this whole world would be a little bit different, let me tell you. No one who is affected by this pandemic is in a decision-making position. I struggle to understand what the incentive would be for the United States to commit such an atrocity, and it's not going to stop. Again, we are now dealing with variants of COVID that are so unlike the original COVID-19 virus that vaccines are significantly less resistant. And are we going to repeat the same mistake? Are they going to make a new COVID-22 vaccination that we all have to take multiples of? Because I'm down. But guess what? Are they going to make it as non-mandatory as the original vaccine? Because if so, we're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over in this country until all of the susceptible and vulnerable populations are completely died out. Until all the poor people are completely eradicated. Until all the people of color are completely eradicated. Until all of the, unnecessary chaff in the population, the disabled, the elderly, are all completely destroyed. That is what timeline we're on. In 10 years from now, imagine the United States of America in 10 years from now on this trajectory. On this trajectory, what do you, 10 years from now, what do you think the life expectancy is going to be in this country? The average life expectancy in 10 years. We already know, as of the last 2 years, really as of the last 5 years, but especially over the last 2 years in the pandemic, the life expectancy in this country has gone down. It has decreased. We know that. So imagine another 10 years where if you are over the age of 50 and you catch COVID, regardless of your vaccination status, you're going to probably end up dying. Or if you have any disability or autoimmune issue, you're going to end up dying. What is the goal of this? The United States government has completely and utterly abandoned every single citizen. And it's not just on COVID, it's on everything. It's on everything. Everything. Your roads are destroyed. Your water quality is corrupted and poisoned. Your air is poisoned. Your food is poisoned. Your bills are skyrocketing. Your rent is skyrocketing. People in this country are now unable to feed their children because there is a baby formula shortage. What is going on in this country? How is it possible that any of this is actually happening? This feels like a fever dream. This is like a movie, like you watch a bad science fiction movie. That's what we're going through? Like if you were to watch the events of real life but not know that, if you, let's say you're in a coma, you wake up, 20 years, let's say you're in a coma in 1993, you wake up, right, in 30 years, you don't know anything about what's going on, and someone shows you, a couple of Biden speeches and all of this information, you would think, oh, it's a movie. It's a movie. It's a joke. It's a really bad, cheesy-ass science fiction movie. But no, this is real life. They are fucking us up. And I don't know. I don't have any solutions. I am fortunate enough to work from home. I can't just tell people work from home. I know a lot of people that watch my show have to go out every day to school, to work, for whatever. I have an extreme privilege right now in this society where I am one of, if not the least susceptible groups to catching COVID. Now, again, I'm poor as fuck. So if I were to get COVID, and I'm going to lose my health insurance in 2 weeks. So if I get COVID, I'm fucking dead. I'm gone. But still, I have the extreme luxury of not needing to leave the house. And I wish everyone else was in my position. But I know that people have to leave the house. And every time they do, they risk dying. For what? For a corporation that doesn't even know your name? What are we doing in this world? Why even have a federal government? What is the point of a federal government? I don't know, man. All I know is that this shit is depressing. This is fucking depressing. Like, just thinking about this, like reading about it, is depressing. And if you ask ordinary Americans, I covered this poll a couple of days ago, only 19% of Americans think COVID is a big problem. Only 19% of this country's population knows enough to care enough about what's going on. And they're letting these crooks get away with it. 80% of the country that's not concerned or only mildly concerned about COVID, they are letting this country and their leaders rob and steal everything from everyone. How many stories do we need to watch of people that worked for 30, 40 years, saved up all their money, and had their savings eradicated from getting COVID? How many stories have you read of people that did all the things that you're supposed to do? They got a good job. They worked hard. They saved up money. They bought a house, and now they're dead because their government said, fuck you. Imagine. That is what is happening. People literally spent their entire lives doing exactly what the government told them to do. And the government led them in to a torture experiment and murdered them for seemingly no reason. Can someone, is there any way that this society, this civilization is going to last 10 more years? At this rate, and that's why I asked that earlier. What is this country going to look like in 10 years? I don't know. This is fucking scary. This shit is fucking scary. This shit is fucking horrifying. This is a mass murder genocide campaign from the United States government. And it's normalized. It's normalized. When's the last time you've heard a politician talk about COVID? The last time I heard a politician talk about COVID was when Joe Biden said that COVID was so unimportant that he delinked COVID relief from Ukraine aid, and then directed all the already there surplus COVID relief to police forces. So let me get this straight. Joe Biden, the President of the United States, not only made it so that COVID relief is never going to happen again, but then also instructed the states to take their already allocated COVID relief money that they haven't spent yet and give it to cops. When's the last time you've heard a politician, any politician, talk about COVID in any way that doesn't enable and propagate this genocidal rhetoric? You haven't. I haven't. I mean, maybe someone has, and it just hasn't made any news anywhere. Maybe. But this fucking shit is insane. This is insane. And I know I'm ranting and raving on this fucking stuff, but this is fucking insane. We are all a part of like a Black Mirror episode. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy. And don't even get me started on these vaccine patents. Do you remember when Joe Biden was elected? And before he was inaugurated, he said he would help global vaccine distribution. Well, here we are. It's 2022. What's the population of Africa that has been successfully vaccinated? What's the population of South America that's been successfully vaccinated? What's the population of Europe, even, that's been successfully vaccinated? What's the population of North America that's been successfully vaccinated? Even here in these so-called first world countries, we're not even doing anything. And now we're giving this vaccine, or ostensibly we're giving a vaccine to other countries, or the vaccine is for a virus that's 2 years old that doesn't even exist in natural environments anymore. COVID-19 is mutated. We are dealing with COVID-22. And we haven't seen a new variant name since Omicron. Why? I read an article that said the WHO didn't want to cause panic. And so that's why they started naming their fucking variants like fucking version numbers in video games. Like BA 2.3969 point version 5.395. Like what the fuck? This fucking shit is crazy. Like I can't get over it. This fucking shit is crazy. Literally, everyone in every position of power, not only in the United States, but across the world. The elites, the oligarchs, the billionaires, the owners, they don't give a fuck. The politicians, the so-called leaders, the puppets, they don't give a fuck. The people, the population, those that are actually affected by this, they don't give a fuck. We're fucked. Anyway, I didn't mean to depress you all of a sudden, but I'm depressed. Oh. This fucking shit's crazy. This fucking shit is crazy. Alright, let's move over a little bit and let's get a little controversial. Talib and the squad, I wonder why they singled out Talib in the title, introduced resolution recognizing catastrophe of Israel's creation. Resolution comes days after Israeli Independence Day. So, first of all, yes, I'm going to get canceled for my following takes, but let's read this article. I'm reading this from Fox News. Because I love when Fox News talks about the squad, because they do so in such a racist and garbage fashion. House members led by Rep. Rashida Tlaib introduced a resolution Monday calling for U.S. recognition of the Nakba, a term meaning catastrophe that is typically used by Palestinians to refer to the establishment of the State of Israel. The resolution was submitted a week and a half after Israeli Independence Day, which coincides with Palestinian commemoration of Nakba Day. It calls for the U.S. to commemorate the Nakba through official recognition and remembrance, while claiming that this refers not only to a historical event, but to an ongoing process of Israel's expropriation of Palestinian land and its dispossession of Palestinian people that continues to this day. The Palestinian people, since the 48 Nakba, have been living under oppression and violent racism. Silence plus blank checks enable more death and violence, Tlaib tweeted, referencing the year Israel was created and recognized via a UN resolution and U.S. financial support for the Jewish state. First of all, calling it a Jewish state is a misnomer. Would you call Germany in 1943 the Aryan state with, legitimacy? No. And yes, I am comparing Israel to Nazi Germany. Absolutely. They are one and the same. But I didn't cover this on my show, honestly, because I forgot, because I'm a piece of garbage. But over the last week or so, there was a journalist that was murdered by the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, so-called. A journalist, an American Palestinian journalist, was shot and murdered point blank on purpose. And then the IDF attacked that journalist's funeral. There is a widely circulated video of people using her casket as a shield from police assault and abuse. Again, there is no equivocating, there is no but Israel is an ethno-nationalist neo-Nazi state. Now again, when I use the term neo-Nazi, yes, the Nazis specifically targeted Jewish people, but the ideology of Nazism boils down to my race or the race I like is better than yours and everyone else's. That's what it boils down to. It's racism, it's ethno-nationalism, and that is what Israel is. It is an ethno-nationalist, supremacist, racist, apartheid country that is founded on genocide, that is founded on racism, and that is founded on mass violence and torture. And there is no other way to tell the story. This idea that because you believe in a fucking fairy tale, that God, landed on some rock somewhere. Oh, this is the rock that God landed on. That is an excuse for mass genocide and torture. When we talk about the Crusades in the history books, people are often told and taught about the Crusades as if they were bad. In what way are the Crusades different than what's going on in Israel? These are religious, fundamentalists, far-right, neo-Nazi, ethno-nationalist freaks that are committing a genocide based on race, committing a genocide based on nationality and religion. This is a modern-day crusade. There are religious nutbags that have guns and missiles that are targeting other people of other cultures and religions for the sole fact that they have a slightly different skin tone or that they believe in a different version of the same God. It's the same God. Muslims and Jews believe in the same fucking God. But it's a slightly different version, and so one of them is going to commit a mass slaughter of the other? There is no way to spin the story. Israel is a terror state. It is an ethno state. If you condemn ethno-nationalism, you should condemn Israel. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck that, it's a Jewish state because our religion. Imagine. And yes, I'm going to say this. Imagine that someone who was murdered in the Holocaust could see what's happening in Israel. What do you think they would say? People that were violently thrown into concentration camps and mass slaughtered, if they could see what's going on in Israel-Palestine, what do you think their opinion would be? You think people who were slaughtered in the Holocaust would agree with what Israel is doing to Palestinians? Do you really think that? Oh, well, Jewish people were treated unfairly in history, so now we're going to treat other people unfairly? What? And again, all of this because, oh, my version of God landed on this rock. So I'm going to kill and murder millions of people and torture millions of people because my God landed on a rock. Israel is a terror state, and it needs to be destroyed. It needs to be abolished. And I'm not like, you know, I don't think that that's radical to say. I know some people would be very offended by that, but I say, fuck them. In the same way that I think Nazi Germany, rightfully, was destroyed and abolished, I think Israel must be destroyed and abolished. A two-state solution is not a solution at all. It's garbage. It's garbage is what it is. It's fucking garbage. Let's keep reading. Today, this is Rashida Tlaib tweeting, today I introduced a resolution recognizing the Nakba catastrophe where 400 Palestinian towns and villages were destroyed, over 700,000 Palestinians uprooted from their homes and made refugees. On this day, we must promote human rights and justice. The Palestinian people since the 48 Nakba have been living under oppression and violent racism. Silence plus blank checks enables more death and violence. Tlaib, who is the daughter of Palestinian immigrants, submitted the resolution on behalf of herself and AOC, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Marie Newman, Betty McCollum, and that's it. Tlaib, AOC, and Omar are among a group of left-wing Democrats known as the Squad, which has often taken anti-Israel positions. In the same way that I think Russia, the government of Russia, is a terror state and must be destroyed, I think the government of Israel is a terror state and must be destroyed. In the same way that I think the government of the United States is a terror state and must be destroyed. Does that mean destroying all the innocent civilians that happen to live there? No. It means getting rid of these corrupt, neo-Nazi, ethno-nationalist fucking leaders. That's what it means. There are a lot of people that live in Israel that do not support what's going on. There are a lot of people that are Jewish that do not support what's going on. This idea that criticizing Israel means you're criticizing the right for Jewish people to exist is ludicrous. That is the 14 fucking words. That is a neo-Nazi slogan. That's what Israel is founded on. We must secure a future for our Jewish children or whatever the fuck. That is a neo-Nazi slogan. The Israeli state is the modern incarnation of Nazi Germany. Full stop. Full stop. Now you can make the argument about the United States as well, or just, you know, Western hegemony. But Israel is a prime example of successful propaganda campaigns. I'm in 100% opposition to the state of Israel. The government of Israel must be abolished. Full stop, beyond recognition. And again, this does not mean that Palestine should then occupy innocent Israeli civilians and kill and murder people because they're Jewish or Israeli. That does not mean that. But the people that are responsible for the government of Israel's actions, they need to be held accountable in the same way that the people responsible for the Holocaust were held accountable. What happened to a lot of the architects of the Holocaust? Well, I mean, we can talk about how some of them went to the United States and became officials for Western hegemony. We can talk about that. But we can also talk about the Nuremberg trials. Anyway, 100% support of this resolution. I mean, this resolution is not like, this isn't even like, this is just like to acknowledge the fact that there was a genocide. Like, it's not do anything. It's not like, oh, and we're going to abolish Israel. Oh, and this and that. Or, oh, and this. It's just literally, the resolution is like, yes, there was a genocide and it's bad. And there's still a genocide going on and it's also still bad. And that's controversial in this country. Acknowledging genocide is controversial in the United States. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's fucking crazy. These fucking people are crazy. Anyway, so obviously Fox News is going to jump on that, but just got to get my opinion on Israel out there. I think we need a one-state solution, and I think that state should be Palestine. I think Israel should be, as governmentally speaking, wiped off the map. That's my opinion. Now, again, that does not mean slaughtering people that live there. Of course not. Innocent civilians, people that have nothing to do with this, they should be free to live in peace. Now, does that mean that they should be able to just continue living on stolen land? We can have that conversation. But the government of Israel needs to be completely abolished. I support a one-state solution, and that state is Palestine. So that's my opinion on that. All right, let's see what else we got. We got some stuff on today's show. We got some stuff. Some goddamn stuff. All right. So this is going to be a double. It's going to be a twofer. So first I want to show you a poll that came out last week. Or is it this week? I don't even know what weeks are anymore. I guess it's last week. This is a poll. Now, again, you don't put too much stock in this stuff. Let's be honest. Let's be real. 2024 is a long ways away. But also, let's be real. People are going to start announcing their candidacies this year. Let's just be honest. December 2022, I guarantee you someone's going to put their hat in the ring. But a poll came out that has Sanders in second place with 17%. Now, again, these polls don't mean much. I'm just being honest with you. They don't mean much. But I also want to play a clip from Senator Bernie Sanders as well that showcases why people are still supporting Bernie Sanders. In a lot of these 2024 polls, right, Sanders has been systematically removed as an option. And I think almost every poll that we've seen up until this point, there's been a couple that have Sanders in them, but I would say probably around 75%, and you can do an analysis if you'd like, but of the polls I have seen, about 75% of them didn't have Bernie as an option. Now, some of them don't even have Biden as an option, so that, you know, just being honest with you. But still, let's talk about it in the way that Joe Biden is the sitting president of the United States. He is the incumbent. And in an open primary situation where Joe Biden runs, he only gets 33% support. That is devastating. We really need to talk about how really that is fucking devastating. And Bernie is polling higher than the fucking vice president, also an incumbent, at 12%, Harris. That is devastating. Now, again, these polls don't mean anything, right? This is a sample of where the country is feeling right now. This doesn't translate into Bernie Sanders unseating an incumbent Democratic president in the primary, and then you know that could happen. It's a theoretical future, severely unlikely. We also know that Bernie said he wouldn't run against Biden. He should, but anyway, that's the context going into this clip. So this is Bernie Sanders getting a little spicy. This is a couple days ago, May 15th. Getting a little spicy on Meet the Press, calling Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema what they are. And that is to say, they are saboteurs. Let's watch.
Okay, everything you said there was being addressed in Build Back Better. Okay, it wasn't as big as you wanted it. It was too big for some. But why do we have nothing? Right, that is the head scratcher here. Understand you don't have it all. Why is it zero? Why is there nothing?
It's, well, it should not be a head scratcher. You got two members of the Senate, Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, who have sabotaged what the president has been fighting.
That's a strong word, sabotage.
Sabotage. Well,
okay. So I gotta pause it here. Okay. Now the camera zooms out from Bernie, but Bernie is still on the screen. Look at Bernie. Look at Bernie when Chuck Todd interrupts him. Look at this.
That's a strong word, sabotage.
Okay. Again, gotta do it again. Instant replay. Instant replay. Instant replay. So Bernie goes like he's like.
Well, you help me out with a better word here. You got 48 members of the Senate who wanted to go forward with an agenda that helped working families, that was prepared to take on the wealthy and the powerful. You had a president who wanted to do that. You had two people who prevented us from doing that. You have a better word than sabotage? That's fine, but I think that is the right word. And I think pressure has got to be put on the part of people in West Virginia, in Arizona, to say, you know what, why don't you stand up for ordinary Americans, not just your wealthy campaign contributors? Why don't you have the guts to take on the drug companies and the insurance companies and the fossil fuel industry?
So that's great. That's great. I saw this clip the other day, and I wanted to talk about it at some point. So now here we go. This is a start. This is a start. Should Bernie and everyone else should have done this a year ago? A year ago? Let's be honest. Let's be real. These motherfuckers should have played hardball a year ago. Right? But Bernie is a nice guy. And that's his saving grace and his fatal flaw at the same time, is that he's a nice guy. So when you get someone like Bernie Sanders pissed off at you, you really fucked up. You really fucked up when you got Bernie Sanders who's mad at you. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker is such a nice guy. I don't know if y'all have ever met Bernie in person, but just being in his presence is like, wow, this guy, I wish he was my grandpa. I'm just saying, I'm just being honest. I'm saying what we're all thinking. Anyway, and it's true. Now again, there's a lot of people out there when they hear this stuff, oh, but 50 Republicans, oh! If you think that any Democrat or Bernie Sanders or progressive or leftist isn't also pissed off at the 50 Republicans, then you're an idiot. You're a fucking moron. You're a goddamn fucking idiot. If you think Bernie is like strategically leaving out the 50 Republicans as a way to sow discord in the Democratic Party, you're a fucking idiot. You're a douchebag. You're a loser. Okay? You're a fucking moron and you need to get your fucking head on straight. Okay? Fuck. But anyway, we need to elect more Democrats. We do. If Democrats lose the Senate, now again, you might say, oh, but Democrats don't even have the Senate. Okay, agree. That's why we need more Democrats. If Republicans win seats and Mitch McConnell becomes the Senate Majority Leader, it's over. It's game, set, match. We're done. We're done. And same with the House. If Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker, we're done. We're done. It's over. Goodbye, United States. It's over. What they're going to do is they're going to filibuster for 2 years, right, and set Trump up, or Ron DeSantis, or whoever, and they are going to be able to steamroll in the general election. That's my prediction, and it hinges on this midterm election. In my opinion, right, we need to have Democrats win as many seats as possible. Now again, I want to ask people what happened in 2020. Where's Chuck Schumer? Can we get Chuck Schumer on the phone? What the fuck happened in North Carolina in 2020? What the fuck happened in Iowa in 2020? What the fuck happened in Colorado? Or was it, no, not Colorado, Montana in 2020? What the fuck happened in Maine in 2020? What the fuck happened? Motherfuckers in October of 2022 were predicting a 55-seat Democratic Senate, and that didn't even factor in Georgia. So I ask you, what the fuck happened in 2020? They set up these horrible fucking candidates. Like fucking was Sarah Gideon, Cal Cunningham in North Carolina, fucking Amy McGrath in fucking Kentucky. How much airtime did Amy McGrath get when she had no chance of winning? None. But how much airtime did she get? How many fucking like fundraising bullshits was she fucking funneling all of that money into? She ended her campaign with like millions of dollars in the bank that could have been spent in other places, in other races. So again, Democrats are to blame for this. And I know people want to spite Democrats. I understand the feeling. Oh, the Democrats suck. I'm going to abstain. I'm not going to vote for them because they suck. I ask you this. Both parties suck. We know that. But which party would you prefer to suck being in power? Fascists? Neo-Nazis? People that are inspiring mass shooters? People that are trying to commit a genocide campaign against queer people? A political party that wants to destroy reproductive rights in this entire country? Or the Democrats, which are just fucking incompetent, demented morons? I ask you this, sincerely, as a fucking queer, as a proud queer, I might add, I cannot possibly understand why someone would see what we're dealing with and decide to abstain or vote Republican. I can't. You are a fucking moron. You fell for the propaganda. You're dumb. You're dumb. Full stop. You are an idiot. But that also, the other option is not voting for Chuck Schumer. People focus on these national races too much. They do. Look at what's going on in all of these state legislatures. How do you think Republicans took hold of more than half the states in this country and are holding all of these state legislatures hostage? How do you think they did that? 1, money, and 2, organizing. That's how they did that. Imagine if the fucking like $15 million or whatever it was that was wasted on Amy McGrath's fucking vanity campaign in Kentucky in 2020. Imagine if that was spent on all of these state and local races equally. Imagine how many seats would have been picked up by Democrats in these states. Right? And imagine if that money was more strategically spent on more winnable races. Like imagine if Cal Cunningham had a couple more $1,000,000. Maybe he would have gone across the finish line. Or fucking Sarah Gideon. But they all also ended their campaigns with millions of dollars in the bank. So, let's go back to the primaries. Why did Chuck Schumer install all these horrible Democratic candidates like Cal Cunningham, Sarah Gideon, Amy McGrath, when there were better alternatives? It's because of corruption. It's because of insider party bullshit. But I ask you again, if you have the option, why on earth would you think that you not voting for Democrats spites them? You think if Chuck Schumer becomes the minority leader again, he's going to become poor and destitute and he's going to be taught a lesson? You think that? You think that. Why? Because you're a fucking idiot. All of these dumb fuck motherfuckers who think voting for Republicans or abstaining from voting is going to do anything at all. Oh, Chuck Schumer's going to be so offended. He's really going to be taught a lesson. Nancy Pelosi's going to learn so much when she gets blown out in the midterms. She is going to become a better person. Are you fucking insane? Are you fucking crazy? They're going to be rich. They're always going to be rich. And they are never going to learn a lesson. Ever. Never, ever, ever until the day that they fucking die. Which is probably pretty soon because a lot of these fucking politicians are in their 80s. Some of them are approaching their 90s. So guess what? There's going to be a lot of room in the Democratic Party in the next 10 to 15 years, assuming that there is a United States of America in the next 10 to 15 years? Possibly sooner, possibly 5 to 10. I don't know. So I say, let's fucking take this son of a bitch over, install people in positions so that when all these 89-year-old geezers finally fucking kick the bucket, that power vacuum isn't filled by even crazier, further right Democrats. That's my position. But in order to reach that reality, we need to be able to have real conversations about the state of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party right now is a shit show. As the Roe v. Wade draft leak happened, Nancy Pelosi was campaigning for anti-abortion Democrats. That's fucking insane. That is insane. That is fucking sane. But again, we also need to stop fucking focusing on national elections as much. Did you know that some motherfucker in some shitfuck state who was literally charged and admitted to and confessing to killing his wife, a Republican, won a primary? I forget what state it was. I want to say Nebraska, but I'm probably wrong. A Republican who confessed to murdering his wife won a primary, and they're also gonna win the general. Why though? You might, oh, how is a Democrat gonna lose to someone who murdered their wife? Oh, because there is no Democrat running in that race. They missed all the deadlines. No one cared. So it's a Republican primary and then a general election where one person's on the ballot? What? That's just one example. That's one Indiana? Okay. That's just one example. The Democratic Party is a clusterfuck of cringe. It is garbage. It is garbage. The leadership is trash. The leadership is historically fucking garbage. It is horrible. It is horrendous. It is horrendous. It is truly and utterly horrendous, the Democratic Party leadership. But think of it this way. We're all in the car. We are all in the car. Or the bus, whatever analogy you want to use, whatever vehicle. We're all on the plane, let's say. You can't jump out of a plane and survive. Okay, well maybe you can, I don't know. We're all in a plane, and the pilots are asleep at the wheel. You know, the wheel, I don't know. Is there a wheel on a plane? I don't think so. But this is my analogy. So would you say, oh, they fell asleep. They're bad at their job. So let's just, you know, abstain. Let's abstain from fixing the problem. And then you fucking crash the plane and die, motherfucker. Okay? Like, honestly. Like, are we gonna let these motherfuckers drive us all into fucking extinction? Or are we gonna do something about it? That's my thing. And so this, I know that I'm ranting and raving. I forgot this is a Bernie Sanders clip. But anyway, Bernie is right. These motherfuckers are sabotaging the Democratic Party. They are destroying the Democratic Party. Utterly and entirely. And that is their role in the Democratic Party. They are spies. They are sabotagers. That's what they are. Anyone who wants to treat them as anything different is an idiot. They should be excised from the party. Did you see what happened in North Carolina with Madison Cawthorn? Madison Cawthorn lost his primary. The Republicans excised him from the party. Why? Because he went a little bit off script. A little bit off script. He still voted in line. He marched in lockstep on all the ideologies. He just accidentally leaked a small secret that was already open anyway. Like, everyone who knows anything about Congress knows that they're all drug addicts. Right? Everyone knows that. But he accidentally said it out loud a little bit, and he got destroyed. He got removed from the party. Did you see what they did to him? Meanwhile, Joe Manchin is calling the entirety of the Democratic Party like far-left wackos, and Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden are still having dinner with him, still chilling, still high-fiving that guy. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. And we've only got a handful of people, 6 people in the United States House of Representatives voted against the Joe Manchin Biff bullshit. 6 people called Joe Manchin out on his garbage. And Bernie in the Senate, so far, seemingly the only one that gives a fuck in the Senate. So, that's my opinion on 2022. If Democrats lose any ground in either house, we're fucked. And not in the good dick way. The country is over. The country is over. The Republican Party is openly stating that it wants all women and all queer people to be second-class citizens in a new apartheid regime. That's what they're campaigning on. I believe it was the governor of Nebraska that said he wants to have complete abolition of all abortion immediately after Roe v. Wade is overturned. And he specified, even in the context of rape, yes, abortion must be banned at all costs. I need you to understand. You pretending to teach the Democrats a lesson, you pretending that voting is like a moral like tattoo on your character that you're gonna, that all is made up fantasy garbage. All right? These motherfuckers are going to kill us all. And the only way we can possibly stop it at this... We don't have time for a fucking Green Party. We don't have time for a fucking People's Party, you stupid fucking jackass. Okay? If there's a ticking time bomb, right, that's going to explode... Let's assume, let's use this bizarre analogy. Let's say you got a frozen pizza in the freezer, okay? You got a frozen pizza, all right. But then you also have the ingredients to make your own pizza from scratch. And there's someone who really wants a pizza. They don't care about the quality. They don't care about like a handmade one being better. They really want that goddamn pizza, okay? And they got a ticking time bomb that says in 15 minutes, I'm going to blow up the whole universe. Why on earth would you start a pizza from scratch? We don't have time for that, motherfucker. If you want a successful third party, build a time machine. If you think you can build a time machine in 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years, that would be a better way to spend your resources than by starting a new third party or by trying to make the Green Party become a thing or by trying to do anything with the Libertarian Party. You will have a better time if you were to spend all of your resources on building a fucking time machine, because we at this point in time are not capable of having that happen. Yes, I know a frozen pizza is not as good as one made from scratch. We all understand that. But it's not about what the most morally correct or best tasting experience. This motherfucker is going to blow us all up if we don't give him a fucking pizza. So let's not fucking waste our goddamn time. Let's fucking pop that fucking frozen pizza in the oven and give this motherfucker what he wants so that we can live to see another day and so that we can fucking regroup after that point. So anyway, step 1 to that, amputating the rotten limbs. Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin need to be amputated from the party. Otherwise, the entire country is going to go into sepsis and we're going to be fucked, okay? And Bernie is saying it how it is. And he needs to go even more. And he needs to say this every day. So anyway, there you go. Once again, I apologize. Cooking with the Bitch Pizza app. I'm in the process of learning how to make a hand-crafted from scratch pizza, so I will do an episode on that at some point. But I apologize. Again, there's going to be no Cooking with the Bitch show today. I procrastinated up until yesterday, and then yesterday some stuff came up, so I was unable to perform my performance. So I apologize for that. So we're going to be doing a 2-hour show today. And also, again, Bodan, Riolon, everyone else, I'm going to be doing a Doom stream at 1 o'clock, so in 90 minutes from now. I'm going to be playing Doom 2 the way it did. And I'm going to be, of course, drinking alcoholic beverages. And so, if you want to come in and shoot the shit for an hour, 2 hours, however long, feel free. Bob Carmody, hey, I growl during sex. Oh my god. Bob's like, this motherfucker. Talk about being a bear. Am I right, people? Alright. Alright. So I got one more segment, and then I'm going to do a movie review, and then the show is over. So that's going to be our situation. That's the itinerary for the rest of the program. That's the itinerary for the program. That's what's happening. Oh. All right. So, first of all, once again, I would like to start this segment. Yes, I'm going to be talking about this guy. I would like to start this segment by saying that I've said many things on my show, but I'm going to come clean. I am in talks with MSNBC. They're going to give me, in fact, you know, recently Rachel Maddow is like quitting her show or whatever. So I'm in talks with MSNBC. They said that I'm in the running to replace Rachel Maddow on her show. They've given me an advance of several $1 million. And I also just bought a $1.9 million mansion. And so I'm just coming clean. These are my biases, okay? So hopefully the next time I talk about this guy, I'll be doing so on prime time on MSNBC. And this is where I'm coming from. So Jimmy Dore, Jimbo Dumbo, is at it again. He is sheepdogging people into the Republican Party. Let's watch.
So what were they really afraid of with Trump? They were afraid he wouldn't do this. That's what they were afraid of. They were afraid he wouldn't go along with them.
So my question is, what is this and them? I'm sure that there's context outside of this clip, but we'll find out.
Because he didn't come up in the Republican farm team. He didn't come up in the organization. He didn't have groomers, Trump. Trump didn't have donors for his whole life like everybody else. He was a donor. So he didn't owe favors like everybody else.
First of all, this is just wrong. Like, this is just not even true. Like, is Jimmy under the impression that Donald Trump funded his own campaign in 2016 100%? No, of course he had fucking donors. he made almost all of the donors his cabinet officials. So, what? First of all, factually wrong, but
couldn't control him like they could control everybody. So what they did was they concocted Russiagate, red baited him for 4 straight years, and impeached him twice because he didn't have his mind right. So if you were the anti-war person, you should have voted for Trump and the Republicans. That's what this means. If you're pro-war, you vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats.
I was trying to save abortion. That's why I voted for Biden.
Okay, so this fucking shit is crazy. Trump is the anti-war candidate? Trump is the what? And also, we really need to have a conversation about this Russiagate thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no fucking idea what the fuck Russiagate is even supposed to mean. At first, I thought Russiagate was people claiming that Russia meddled in the election or like did something and then made Trump win. Right? That's the original claim. And then, the Mueller report, people love that stuff. And like, people got really into it. Like, oh, Trump's going to go to jail. First of all, the rich never get held accountable unless they scam other rich people. So, but then we find out in the Mueller report and other areas that Russiagate was mostly correct. There were Russian troll farms. There were Russian attempts to meddle in the election. It's just factual. And if that triggers you, I ask you this. Do you think that all countries have free and fair elections without any outside interference from any other country? Do you think that the United States hasn't meddled in any other elections? I mean, my God, look at what happened in Venezuela over the last couple of fucking years. Jesus Christ, what a shit show. Look at Bolivia, for example. I mean, look at Chile in 1973 with the original and only actual meaningful 9/11 tragedy. You think the U.S. hasn't meddled in elections? You think the U.S. wasn't meddling during the downfall of the Soviet Union? What? Why on earth? Now, yes, did some Democrats get a little too obsessed with the Mueller report? Sure. Democrats and liberals are fucking dumb. They're just dumb. Sure. Duh. But this idea of just saying Russiagate, therefore Russia did nothing wrong. It is documented that they had Russian troll farms. It is documented that they would buy up Facebook advertisements and sow disinformation in Facebook groups and other social media sites to try to get people to think that Trump is like some anti-war guy. That's factual. I'm sorry if that triggers you, but guess what? Facts don't care about your feelings, you fucking moron. But I have a question for you. The people that think that Jimmy Dore is some like freedom fighter, he's an independent thinker. What is this anti-war thing? I sincerely ask you, why? What Trump? It's not 2015. Trump has a first term. You can look at what Trump did in office. This is like, we don't need a time machine. We can just look at history. The assassination of Soleimani in Iran that almost launched us into a nuclear exchange? Or a full fucking, war with Iran? That's anti-war. Threatening to nuke North Korea? That's anti-war? That's the anti-war guy? Drone striking innocent children is the anti-war guy? Now again, my position is that the Democrats are garbage and the Republicans are garbage, but Republicans are slightly more garbage, and therefore I would vote for the lesser of two evils. That's my position, and you can disagree with that position, but if you're going to say that the Republicans are anti-war, then you're a fucking lunatic. You are a lunatic. You are fucking crazy. If you think Donald Trump and Mike Pence are anti-war, you are fucking insane. You are fucking insane. You are a dumb fuck motherfucker. Now, I also want to ask, why are they claiming that Joe Biden is pro-war? Let's ask this. Joe Biden has gotten out of Afghanistan. Yeah, sure. He oversaw a drone strike that killed 7 kids for no reason. But he did get us out of Afghanistan, let's be honest. Now, you can say that Trump set that up or whatever. That's fine, whatever. We got out of Afghanistan, okay? Joe Biden, other than a couple of drone strikes that happened to kill a dozen kids, it happens, right? You know, Obama killed thousands of kids. Trump killed thousands of kids. It happens. Every president's going to murder a couple dozen kids every once in a while. It happens. But outside of that, and I'm being a little sarcastic there, right? But this is just how the United States works. The United States is a terror state. The United States is a rogue state, okay? It's just honest. I'm sorry if that offends you. I would assume the Jimmy Dore viewers would be under that impression. But now, apparently, it seems that Jimmy Dore viewers are just completely right-wing now. But anyway. Joe Biden has severely declined and decreased the amount of drone strikes that the U.S. has been doing since he was inaugurated. If you look at drone strikes over the course of Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden, it was massive escalation all the way until Biden. I'm just being, like, this is just factual. You can look it up. Now, again, did he reduce it to 0? Should he have reduced it to 0? Yes. And did he? No. But did he severely reduce the amount of drone strikes overall? Absolutely. And that, in my opinion, is good. Do you think if Trump won in 2020? He didn't. Trump lost in 2020. Joe Biden won the 2020 election. But do you think if Trump had a second term that he would have slowed down on drone strikes? But okay, all right. Now let's talk about why they call Joe Biden pro-war. Why they call the squad pro-war. And there's more clips here, by the way. But I just, real quick, before we get into that. This is because of Russia and Ukraine. Now, can we criticize NATO? Are we allowed to criticize NATO expansion after 1991? Sure. But guess what? Unless you're planning on building a time machine, we can't go back in time and say, hey, H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, settle down. But then also, we need to acknowledge what NATO is, right? And we need to acknowledge what, right now, is going on in Russia. Putin's regime in Russia is a terror state. Now, again, the United States, also a terror state. But that doesn't make Russia any less of a terror state. So, why are they claiming that Democrats are pro-war? Because they are giving Ukraine military aid. Now again, would I prefer the United States give Americans health care? Yes. But we don't need to pick and choose. Let's be honest. We don't need to choose Ukraine aid or COVID relief. Ukraine aid or health care. We don't need to choose that. We can get it all. And we should advocate for it all. But let's also, Ukraine aid makes you pro-war, right? That's their position. Okay? That implies, one, that Ukraine and Ukrainians have no rights or a right to self-determination or right to defend themselves, which is just dumb. Would you say that giving Afghanistan and Iraq aid during the illegal offensive invasion that the U.S. pulled was pro-war? If a country funded, like, resistance in Iraq and Afghanistan, would you call that country pro-war? In my opinion, if a terror state is invading your country, you have a right to defend yourself. If someone were to come in my house with a gun and threaten to shoot me, if I had an opportunity to fight back, I would. It's called self-defense. And again, if someone came in my house and threatened to shoot me, right, and I managed to get away and call my buddy on speed dial, and then he and his boys come over and help me out, it's still my right to self-defense. And it's their right to help me defend against an intruder. Now again, does the world suck? Yes. Does war suck? Yes. But to claim that self-defense is as bad as an offensive imperialist invasion makes you a lunatic. It makes you a fucking lunatic. Would I prefer if Ukraine didn't need military aid and Russia didn't invade? I would prefer that. I think everyone would prefer that except for maybe Vladimir Putin. So, but my question is, what the fuck does that have to do with making, like, why would anyone vote for Republicans? Like, what is a Republican going to do that's going to facilitate less warfare in this world? Anyway, we got more clips here. Let's watch.
People are on the left. And so now look, and now they give a right-winger like DeSantis, who should be repulsive to people who are on the left. Now they make him attractive. And how are they doing it?
Now, again, I want to ask you who they is. A lot of people, now I'm a podcaster, I do this stuff every day. So, one of the things about building a narrative on a podcast is that, you know, you need to use a lot of, you need to build a narrative, you need to have bad guys. In Jimmy Dore's podcast, his world, his narrative, the Democrats are the bad guys. Full stop. There's no, you start from that point and work back from there. Right? So when he says they, it's a vague, like, Democratic establishment that has, but also the squad, like the left, like Bernie Sanders is also part of the Democratic establishment. Like, it's all vague. Yes, the Democratic establishment is horrible, and they need to be defeated at all costs. 100%, full stop. But lumping in AOC with Nancy Pelosi doesn't really do anything. And then saying that Ron DeSantis is to the left of someone like Bernie Sanders is fucking insane. It is insane.
Watch, here's what he says.
But clearly, our entire principles that the country was founded on, you cannot have a ministry of truth in this country. And so let's get real here. Let's make sure that we're doing things to benefit.
Ron DeSantis spearheaded legislation to fire gay teachers simply because they are gay. I know Jimmy Dore fans would be like, shut the fuck up, you goddamn child. Shut the fuck up. If you're a free speech person, if you're against the government telling you what you're allowed to say, then you should be against Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis saying, oh, we don't need a ministry of truth, while he's spearheading legislation to get gay teachers fired. He's not a free speech guy. In Florida, in order to be a teacher, in order to work in the public sector, you need to sign a loyalty oath to the government of Israel. If you say that you go to the grocery store and you purposefully don't buy products that were made in Israel, right? You are literally unable to become a public sector worker in the state of Florida. So, what?
Floridians and Americans, but we're not going to let Biden get away with this one. So we'll be fighting back.
Ron DeSantis, his administration has banned 50 math books because of CRT, critical race theory. That's right. He is banning math books in the state of Florida because of critical race theory. This is who Jimmy Dore is calling the free speech guy now.
The Democrats are losing everybody who's gives a lick about liberty, freedom, it's civil rights. They're losing everybody. They try.
So the party that is waging a war on reproductive rights and waging a war on queer people, they are more in favor of liberty and civil rights? So the party advocating to ban gay and trans people from literally everything and to ban anyone from accessing reproductive health care, they're actually in favor of civil liberties? Now, you can say the Democrats are garbage at upholding civil liberties and protecting civil liberties. I agree. But to say that Republicans are the party of civil liberties requires you to be a fucking idiot. It requires. There is no exception. You need to be a dumb fuck motherfucker in order to claim that Republicans are the party of civil liberties. You have to be a complete dunderhead Neanderthal moron. That's the only option. That is the only fucking option. That is the only option. There is no other option on this, okay? To tell anyone, okay, that fucking Republicans are the party of civil liberties. Again, I mean, it's...
All of a sudden, we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
I mean, Jimmy says he has a spinal injury, but hey, I just want to sequence that guy's genes. I'm just saying.
Tried to paint Trump, remember, during Black Lives Matter, that Trump was a crazy authoritarian who's going to send the army into the city. Well, now Joe Biden is doing worse. And so they're making guys like that look attractive. If you're for free speech and civil rights and liberties, who are you going to vote for? This guy or Joe Biden? Tough call, though, isn't it?
Now, again, we can criticize Joe Biden, right? We're allowed to. I criticize Joe Biden every single day on my show. But to say that Ron DeSantis is an alternative is irresponsible. Now, you can say that Joe Biden is failing utterly and that on some policies, Ron DeSantis could theoretically be better, but that is not endorsing Ron DeSantis. That is not endorsing either of them. It is responsibility. It is your responsibility as someone with 1 million YouTube subscribers to explain why both parties are corrupt, why all of these people are fucking losers. That is your job. But when you are telling people to vote for Republicans and saying that Republicans are anti-war and pro-civil liberties, you are giving away free propaganda for people that are going to destroy you. Or maybe not him, because he's not queer, right? So he doesn't have anything to worry about. But again, this fucking shit is crazy. This is crazy shit.
So what has happened here, in case no one's noticing, the parties have flipped when it comes to foreign policy. The Republicans used to be crazy war hawks, and you associate war hawkery with a right-wing position. Now the Democrats are the right-wingers, and the Republicans are the anti-war lefties. So that's Republican right-wing red-baiting bullshit. So what has happened here?
First of all, the idea that Democrats were anti-war, when? I'm curious, like, if someone were to call into Jimmy Dore's show or whatever and ask him, can you tell me when Democrats were anti-war? I'm curious. When? 1960s? Maybe? JFK? Possibly? I mean, not really, but like, how? When? When were the Democrats anti-war? FDR? Before getting into World War II? But wait, no, they got into World War II. When were Democrats anti-war? In the 19th century? Oh, wait, no. In the 19th century, they were still fighting wars over killing black people, the right to kill black people. Democrats, and, again, this is when the Democrats were the party of the KKK, were committing coups in states like North Carolina and Arizona, massacring black politicians and taking over control of governments. So I'm just getting, like, if you want to talk about Democrats being anti-war, I'm curious. Now, can we say that there are some Democratic politicians that are anti-war and that they have been a caucus within the Democratic Party for all that time? Sure. Right? But unfortunately, they failed every step of the way to actually get us out of these wars or to actually stop us from getting into these wars. Unfortunately, I would prefer if people like Mike Gravel and Bernie Sanders, right, could have won those debates, but they didn't. They lost. But this idea that Republicans are anti-war because they don't want to send Ukraine aid What? What? So, not sending Ukraine aid somehow makes the war end? Is that serious? Is that a joke? I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, we can criticize Democrats and Republicans. I don't know why this guy is trying to sheepdog people into the Republican Party. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ludicrous. What we need to do is expand the anti-war caucus. I don't give a fuck what party they're on. But, typically speaking, Democratic voters are more likely to be against warfare than Republican voters, typically speaking. Right? So, I'm curious, if we're going to expand the anti-war caucus, what would be the best way to do so? Primary Democrats or primary Republicans? I mean, it depends on where you are. If you live in a heavily Republican district and you want to run as a Republican and you want to make your campaign about being anti-war and you just ignore all the other issues or pretend to be, like, you know, pretend to be a crazy Republican and then as soon as you get elected, become normal again and then actually can't, like, you know, be an anti... If that's your plan, all right, great. That's awesome. That's a really good idea. If you live in a Republican area, in a Republican district, and you want to run as a Republican... Right? Okay. But that's not what Jimmy Dore is advocating for. He's saying that the Republicans we have right now are anti-war. Can you point to one? Because I'd be curious. These motherfuckers are crazy. Like, I need you to understand, these motherfuckers are insane. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure everyone who is going to realize that Jimmy Dore is insane has already realized that Jimmy Dore is insane. But the guy's fucking insane. The guy is a fucking Looney Tune, man. I swear to God.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Like, I don't know, man. These people are crazy. I feel like we're living in a hell world. All right, movie review time. Movie review. Let's go. It's happening. Prepare yourselves. Reminder to watch the Majority Report because the letter hack is going to go on there to announce something, but y'all already got the announcement here. So do you really need to watch? But go there and support him. He might be, I don't know, like, I'm also going to be streaming at 1, so open up both, bitch. Go watch my stream at 1 o'clock. Anyway, it's movie review time. That's right. So, I discovered that this movie was on YouTube free movie section. First of all, this is Cube. I had no idea that there was a free section on YouTube. I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea. I had no fucking clue that there was a free movie section on YouTube. I looked up where to watch this movie, and it said it was on YouTube for free. And I was like... And then I watched it last night for free. So anyway, Cube, this is a great movie. I mean, I remember liking this movie when I first watched it many, many moons ago. But honestly, on the rewatch, this movie, really good. It's really good. So first of all, my favorite part of this film is that it starts and ends inside the Cube maze, inside the torture simulator, right? You start the movie in the Cube. You end the movie as they're exiting the Cube, and then there's no, and then happily ever after, there's no, you start and end in the Cube, and that's amazing. That's, like, again, they don't tell you any more than you need to know, and that's what brings about why this movie is so good, in my opinion. Now, I want to watch Cube 2 and 3, and also, I am under the understanding that there's a Japanese remake of Cube that came out last year, and it is impossible to find anywhere. So if anyone can find the Japanese 2021 Cube, let me know, please. But anyway, so this movie, first of all, if you've seen this movie, you know all cops are bastards. All cops are bastards, motherfucker. Can we talk about how in this movie they made the cop the bad guy? I mean, first of all, duh, right? But oftentimes in movies, cops are portrayed as the good guys, right? Because movies love to promote propaganda and propaganda for the rich and powerful. Oftentimes, this movie doesn't fuck around. The cop is the bad guy. The cop is a lunatic. The cop is a self-absorbed prick motherfucker. So let's talk about this cop, right? I hate cops, so I'm gonna take this movie review in the anti-cop direction, and then we'll. So the cop, 1, starts to boss people around. 2, claims that he's got like supernatural abilities, right? I can read people. It's my job to read people like an X-ray. Bro, like, settle the fuck down. Like, you are trapped in a maze, motherfucker. You're dumb as hell, right? But the movie is right because, again, it's only in the cube. It only takes place in the cube. There's no outside context. You don't know anything about the characters outside of the fact that they're in the cube, and that's why it's great. So the movie starts, right? And over the course of the movie, the characters slowly start to unravel. Now, again, one of the plot points in this movie, I just slipped with my foot, I'm sorry if I made a noise, is that there's several people in the maze, in the cube maze, and they all have like unique abilities that when they work together, they could get out of the maze. And so the goal is for them to get out of the cube maze, right? And while doing that, they turn on each other. Why? Mostly because of the cop. The cop's a psycho. The cop's a fucking psycho. If you are ever trapped in a maze with a cop, you know what to do. Watch Cube and learn a lesson. If you are trapped in a maze with a cop, you need to get rid of the cop ASAP. Get rid of him ASAP. Because cops are fucking crazy. So anyway, one of the characters that they meet happens to be, quote unquote, mentally handicapped, right? And so his character is that, he doesn't have conversations and he stims a lot, right? But he also happens to be really good at math. He's able to do complex mathematical calculations in an instant. That's his ability, okay? But they don't realize that until near the end of the movie. And so the whole time, right, all the characters really, except for the cop, and some of the characters got annoyed with him, which is unfortunate, but the cop was extremely ableist and grotesque, right, against the quote unquote mentally handicapped individual, and threatened to kill him just because he would quote slow them down. But then as soon as they realized that he was really good at math, then all of a sudden, the cop is his best friend, right? So, again, cops only care about you if you're useful. If you're not useful, they will step on you. So one of the other characters, my favorite character, was the doctor. I think her name was Holloway or something. The blonde doctor. Anyway, she's an anti-establishment person. She's saying that the military-industrial complex created the cube and stuff, and then the cop is my favorite part of this movie. I mean, I have a lot of favorite parts, but one of my favorite parts of the movie is when the cop is without us, without people like me, your society would crumble. This guy is so full of himself, right? But he's a cog in the machine. He's a fascist bootlicker, right? But anyway, so they try a bunch of times to get out of the cube. Eventually, the cop ends up killing pretty much everyone because he's a cop, and that's what the only thing cops are good at is torture and murder. That's it. They have no other skill set. They're only good at torture. They're only good at murder. And this movie is a really good example of that. So anyway, trying to get out of the cube, right? There's a lot of these rooms that are have traps in them. So they have to figure out how to get around the traps and so on and so forth. And the cop ends up killing half the characters because he's a fucking psychopath lunatic, right? and he slowly goes crazy and tries to kill everyone, and then they have to fight each other to get rid of the cop. So I love it. This is a good movie. If you only look at the plot line of the cop being the bad guy, this is a good movie. This is a good movie, right? It's just really good. But the thing about the movie that's really good is, again, the cube maze, the environment, the set is really cool, right? It's a maze, right? And the maze has traps, but then also whoever is in charge of this maze put the cop in the maze as another trap. That's the trap, right? Like not only do rooms have flamethrowers that will burn you alive and acid that's going to fucking melt your body and spikes that are going to turn you into like mush, but also there's a cop, right? Like really, what's worse? A trap with spikes and flamethrowers, or a motherfucking cop who's manipulating your psyche? I'm just going to be honest here. I'll take a trap with flamethrowers than a cop any day of the week. A cop is unpredictable. A cop is a fucking torture fiend. A cop is a lunatic. A cop is a powerful fucking enemy. A flamethrower trap? I can deal with a flamethrower trap. I can walk around the fucking flamethrowers, motherfucker. Anyway, so I love how this movie makes the cop the bad guy. But also, again, this is just a really good horror film. And one of the ways that this horror film is so good is because it doesn't tell you what you don't need to know. And one of the things I don't like about horror movies are, and I don't dislike it, but I prefer the Cube style, like of not giving you information that you don't need. Right, like a lot of horror movies, they'll have like a part of the movie where some character explains like the plot, right? Like the supernatural parts, or this is, they explain like why ghosts are there, or they explain like how this happened, right? We don't need that. And that's what Cube excels at. They throw you in, and as soon as they get out of the cube, the movie ends. You have no context that you don't need to know. And that's why it's such a good movie. Now again, I saw Cube 2 and 3 a long time ago. They're not on YouTube for streaming for free, so I'll watch them whenever I get the opportunity. And I do really want to watch the Japanese remake because I'm sure it's really good. But again, this movie is just really good. It's an experimental horror film, right? And it does a really good job at it. They don't tell you what you don't need to know. They give you just enough information to be able to follow the plot. Right? And again, the main anxiety-inducing aspect of the movie is watching all the people tear each other apart. And the only reason they did so is because of the cop. Without the cop, everyone would have been friends. Everyone would have been happy. But the cop ruined everything. If you are ever stuck in a maze in a life-or-death situation with a cop, get as far away from that motherfucker as soon as possible. That's my recommendation. If you're ever in the cube and you see a cop, get the fuck out. But anyway, really good movie. I don't want to turn this whole review into me hating cops, but I do. Any movie that has like cops being the bad guy, you know what I'm going to say when it comes to the review. But anyway, Cube, it's great. It's good. I like it. You should watch it. It's free on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. Free on YouTube. Go watch it. Check it out. Highly recommended. There's Cube. There you go. Anyway, that's the stream for today. That's the show for today. And thank you for watching. In an hour, I'm going to do a Doom stream. Drink a drink or two. So I don't have the stream page for it set up yet because I was rushing this morning, so I apologize. I'm going to do that as soon as I use the bathroom, as soon as the show is over. Again, thank you all for watching. I apologize for no cooking show today. I will do 2 of them next week to make up for it. Thank you all. Y'all have a good one. And stay safe, stay sane, and do your best to enjoy your life because the world is going to shit. And who knows how long this society is going to last. So do your best. Stay happy as much as you can. And I will see y'all in an hour or tomorrow, depending on whether or not you actually like me as a person. Because if you like me as a person, you'll watch me play video games. Again, video game streams are this, but the screen is moving. Now, again, if the screen moving freaks you out, put a Post-it note over it. on your screen, right? You don't like the moving screen. Oh no, freaks you out. Well, you know. But again, I know that half my audience hates me and they think I'm a stupid bitch and they don't care about me, so they're not going to watch my doom stream. But for those of you that do, I will see you in an hour. And for those of you that think I'm a piece of garbage and you're garbage yourself and fuck you, I will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Why attack Sanders? Why Sanders? You're getting nervous, man.
So stupid, so stupid. Thank you, thank you.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts.